Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today I'm doing my third Ghost Survivor mode video for the Resident Evil 2 remake. Ghost Survivors is a unique mode in the game that takes the characters who died in the main story mode, and we get hypothetical what-if scenarios where we control those characters after they live through the event that would have otherwise killed them. We then have to guide them to survival in an increasingly worsening scenario. Now, the scenario I am doing today is for the Umbrella Secret Service member with the codename Ghost. We briefly read about him in the story mode. His team entered the secret Umbrella lab called Nest to steal the G-Virus from the defecting scientist William Birkin. As the story goes, William Birkin infected himself and killed the majority of that team, including Ghost. Well, this scenario has Ghost living through that experience with William Birkin, and then he ends up finding the G-Virus sample and we get to control him during his evacuation from the secret lab Nest. And this evacuation scenario is going to be titled Forgotten Soldier. Before we begin though, here is Ghost's summary for the scenario. Here is the tale of a future that never was, of a night that never dawned. Your objective is to recover the G-Virus. His first USS mission should have been simple, but everything changed in a hail of gunfire. William Birkin mutated into the bioweapon G, and wiped out the unit that gunned him down. But one soldier narrowly escaped and headed deep into Nest to fulfill his mission. Once he secured the sample, however, he heard a voice echoing through the facility. Self-destruct sequence initiated. There's not much time left. For the Forgotten Soldier Ghost, his final mission has just begun. And alright, let's go ahead and roll the film. And now that we have begun, let's go ahead and check out the security team report. It says many members of the Nest security team were infected with the virus that leaked out. Among the infected members, some were wearing bulletproof anti-personnel gear, also known as A-gear. A-gear is highly durable and provides complete protection against gunfire. It was designed for use in subduing out-of-control situations. So we have the G-Virus sample that Ada dropped during her dramatic fall. And we also learned that the gimmick for the scenario is going to be armored zombies, who have limited and varied vulnerable areas that we can shoot. To kick off the action in this scenario, I open the door to a walkway filled with zombies. But I do not exit the first room. As long as the door is open and I do not walk through, the zombies will not respond to me even if I shoot at them. Using that to my advantage, I kill the backpack zombie while using as little ammunition as I can. Then I just barely enter the hallway just enough to alert the zombies so they start walking towards me, but not enough for the door to close behind me. If the door closes, it locks and I am stuck on the walkway, and that would be a reset for me. Once the zombies are just outside of lunging distance, I back up into the first room again, which halts their response and they become docile. In this case, they end up going behind the door, which is perfect for me because I can just run by them. Sometimes I have to let the door close and then open it again so it knocks them aside and then I can run by. I sprint up to the backpacker and then I pick up a combat knife and a high-grade gunpowder from the backpack. The knife is especially important. From there I end up killing the last zombie on the walkway, which puts plenty of distance between me and the other zombies. And that is important as I approach the exit door where I need to take my time. On the other side of the door are burning zombies that are crawling on the ground, and I end up doing a very similar door trick again. I open the door, I walk in slightly, I alert the crawlers, and then I exit so they lose interest in me. This will cause them to crawl away from the door and not face me most of the time, and that lets me just run by them. After I jog by the crawling zombies, I take my time to kill a licker. The door manipulations are the key to the early success in this scenario, and this kill is no different. As long as I stay in this room and I do not go through the door, I can just shoot at the licker as much as I need to without it ever doing anything to me, giving me a free kill on a tough opponent. And after killing that monster, I go to the vending machine where I can grab one item, which in this case is going to be the healing spray. In the room with the dead licker, I also find a distracted backpack zombie. I start stabbing at the backpacker, and ideally I would have just been able to kill that zombie with a knife. But it grabs me, so I have to stab it with a knife, losing that knife for a moment, and then I have to waste some ammunition in order to get the backpack contents and also to get my knife back. I will still need that knife for something later on that's much more important than this. Fortunately, killing the zombie only takes a few bullets. And now it is time for more door manipulation. You can guess the drill by now. I open the door so I can shoot at the zombies, but I want to make sure that I do not enter the next room so it's a free kill. In this case, I just want to kill the backpack zombie, or cause him to drop his backpack because really I don't need him to die. I just need him to drop the bag so I can get the contents in that bag. Of course, that plan, as simple as it is, goes astray on me. The problem I have is that the zombies are all clustered together, and that means a few of them are blocking the backpacker and I cannot get a clear shot on that zombie. I try to be patient, but they do not move at all, so I end up deciding to just enter the room slightly to try and alert the zombies so that it maybe spread out a little bit. That would potentially give me a clear shot on the backpack zombie, but it also increases the chance that the other zombies wander around to a bad spot. And what I mean by that is they could end up blocking a previously clear path that I would like to use and avoid them altogether. And if they do that, well, I'm probably going to end up taking some damage that I really don't want to. Ultimately, I do end up killing the backpack zombie, and I try the door manipulation to make the zombies calm down enough for me to run by them, and it kind of works on zombie number 1 because I get to run by for a moment, but then zombie number 2 catches me, bites me, and I take a bit of damage for the first time in this scenario. That is definitely not ideal, but it's also not reset worthy, and we continue forward. I break free and I grab the gunpowder from the backpack before climbing up the ladder to a new vending machine where I can pick up one new item, specifically a new weapon. Now at the vending machine, I do my first real bit of inventory management for the scenario. I ditch the standard gunpowder because, well, it's not useless, but it is not as useful as everything else I have, and I do need one more free inventory slot. That way I can pick up a weapon from the vending machine. Now inside of there is going to be a lightning hawk, a shotgun, and a grenade launcher. And in my opinion, since I can only choose one of them, the shotgun is the best choice. In the next room is going to be a swarm of zombies, and no door trickery is going to make this part any easier. Instead, I end up dodging a bunch of zombies that are just waking up until I reach a bunch of zombies that are already walking around. Once I reach them, I end up running directly into the armored zombie, and I let that zombie damage me deliberately. I do this so that Ghost can shove that armored zombie away from him, and that zombie will stumble into a cluster of other zombies, which will then stun them just long enough for me to run by. And while they are stunned, Ghost reaches the elevator and goes up one more floor. And once we're up there, we shotgun one zombie in the face, and then we go to the furthest corner from the exit door. That is where I wait for the plant man to reach me in my corner. I shoot and stun the plant, and then I run by and just reach the backpacker on the floor by the exit. The reason I do this very specifically is to leave the plant man stunned at the furthest point away from the exit where I'm going to be doing the inventory management, and then also maybe some door manipulation. I shotgun the grounded backpacker in the head, and then I take gunpowder from his backpack just enough to create some more shotgun shells. I then sprint through the next room, only stopping to buckshot the last zombie in the face by the exit. They were blocking my path and I just could not have that. In the next room is where the combat knife's time has finally come. I then dash towards the plant man and I let him grab me. Once grabbed, I then stab the plant, and then I shove it off of me towards the rest of the zombies. And just like my last shove, that stuns the other zombies long enough for me to reach the elevator. Now every zombie before the plant man won't be able to stand up and attack you before you reach the plant. So just run straight past them and do not worry about them. We then reach the next floor, which is the main junction point for the east, west, and north sides of Nest. And this is where I am going to be slowing down a very good amount. I will be taking my time luring zombies to me and trying to kill them off one by one until, hopefully, there is just one plant man left by the north side door. To lure the zombies towards me, I will just shoot one at a time, and whenever I shoot them, they'll start to come near me. Now when the bullet hits them, they walk towards me, and the others typically will remain unaware that I am even there. When the zombie I am luring reaches the elevator loop, that is when I start actually trying to take them out. The reason for all this taking my time is just to minimize the chance that I inadvertently lure other zombies to me. The last thing I want to do is get overwhelmed and cost myself more health. This also lets me take my time with the headshots, which will also minimize the amount of ammo I'm spending on a single kill. I do end up collecting even more shotgun shells from the vending machine, and with that I am definitely heavily armed enough to clear the walkway without risking too much damage. And that also minimizes the chance of me getting an instant death from the plant man because, well, the more zombies there are, the more likely it is the plant man can potentially reach me, and if you do not have a defensive item, that is going to be a guaranteed kill. And I really don't want to reset because of that. Now, besides the zombies that are standing on the walkway, there are also a few laying on the ground. If you were to run up to them and get close enough, that would alert them and they would all stand up. But you can also just shoot them at a distance to alert them one at a time, just like the previous standing zombies. And that is exactly the approach I take. That lets me continue taking them out one at a time, or as close to that as I can possibly get. Now, among the zombies that are on the walkway is going to be a backpacker who is holding a bunch of gunpowder. And that gunpowder is what I need for more machine gun ammo and shotgun shells. All of which is going to be very important because the last thing I want to do is run out of ammo as I'm getting so close to the end of the scenario. So yeah, that backpacker is going to be a must. And as I am picking off the walkway zombies with machine gun, it's probably worth mentioning why I am saving the shotgun. Now its ammo is being reserved for a cluster of armored zombies that are just beyond the north door. I really want the shotgun for the one-shot kill headshots. That is about the best case scenario you could possibly hope for whenever you're facing enemies that are just really not that vulnerable to anything else. And the machine gun is just way less useful for dealing with those armored zombies. At least in my opinion. And alright, I finished up with the backpack zombie and it's back to very patiently taking out the zombies on the walkway. So while I am taking my time doing that, I guess it's mention worthy that whenever I was recording this gameplay, I had not defeated this scenario yet. In fact, this is going to be the very first time that I beat the Forgotten Soldier scenario. And this is about as far as I had gotten successfully up to this point. Like, I'd gotten a little bit further than this, but not by a lot. So I had not figured out a really solid method for getting past this part besides just going really slowly and picking them off the way that I am right now. So there's definitely a better way to do this. I don't know what it is, but this is what I had come up with at the time, and it was working for me, even if it was a little bit slow. So yeah, all my efforts up here at the very top of the elevator. It's not as efficient or as optimized as it was back at the beginning of this scenario, where I was really using the manipulation of the doors and things of that nature. And that is just because I have done this part way less. Like, I had probably reached this point and died maybe 4 times prior to this attempt. But that is fine, even if I am being overly cautious or this is a little bit sloppy. We are nearly done. I just need to take out this crawling zombie and a few right there by the north door, and then we are going to be good to go. And of course, me trying to approach this whole thing cautiously just ends up going wrong because somehow a zombie is still managing to sneak up behind me and then bites me, and now I'm in red health. And being this close to death means the first aid spray is finally getting some usage. I heal up to full health, and this part is taking a little bit longer than I remember. Clearly, if you take this approach, it is going to take a while. And if you have been doing this for a while, trying to beat the scenario for the first time like I was, I would say it's pretty easy to lose patience with the process. And that is exactly what happens to me in this attempt. I lose patience, then I decide to run up to the last group of zombies by the north door. And I'm doing that to try and alert them and lure them to me, as many of them as I can at one time. As I was progressing through the scenario, I was beginning to feel a bit more confident that I could pick off more than one zombie at a time, even if that group was a bit larger. Unfortunately, despite getting their attention, not as many follow me as I wanted, so I was basically still just putting them down one at a time. And yeah, I was already getting really impatient trying to move this thing along as quickly as I could since it was taking a lot longer than I wanted it to. But right around here is when I really started to be eager with getting to the next area. Because just beyond the north door is going to be the main lobby area with all the armored zombies, and that was the point where I had not been able to advance past in my previous attempts. Like, I had always died in that area. So since I was finally getting close to returning to that location, I really wanted to finally advance beyond that point and see just how close I was to the end of the game, because it felt like I was really close to ending the scenario the last time I was here. And granted, now that I have the wonderful gift of hindsight, I can definitely confirm that I was really close to the end of the scenario. Because beyond the lobby doors is going to be the rail car that takes us back up to the sewers, just below Raccoon City. And now that I know where the scenario ends, I can confirm for anyone watching this video that the rail car is where I need to get to in order to end the scenario. So yeah, it's basically one room away from the end. And alright, we are nearly done with this elevator area. There are only 3 enemies left. I need to take out the 2 common zombies and get past the plant person. And then there's not really going to be too much standing in my way, although there is going to be one interesting cameo coming up here momentarily. Eventually, there's only 1 common zombie by the door along with the plant man. I use the last of my machine gun ammo to stun the plant, and then I shotgun the common zombie to escape into the lobby where the cluster of armored zombies is waiting for me. Now the shotgun lives up to its destiny at this point. Ghost becomes a shotgun surgeon, headshotting everything without a mask and then buckshot amputating all the limbs of everything else in the area. So yeah, serves you armored zombies right for thinking that wearing a mask was a good idea. Now you're losing arms and legs. And then anyone not wearing a mask is going to be losing their heads. But yeah, this is a big reason why I went with the shotgun as opposed to the grenade launcher or the Magnum. you just come across way more shotgun shells, and the shotgun is just really good at taking down the zombies in one shot. Maybe two if you have to really get unlucky. With the other weapons, ammo is just a little bit harder to come by, or at least there's a little bit less of it whenever you use the various gunpowders. And the rampage of buckshot ends up clearing a path all the way to the last backpack of the scenario, which contains even more gunpowder to replenish my shotgun shells and machine gun ammo. And with that supply now loaded up again, I initiate opening the door to the rail car, and then I start running laps around our old buddy Mr. X. Well, I guess in this scenario, this is actually the first time that Ghost is meeting Mr. X, so calling him my old friend or old buddy might be bad phrasing. In any case, we just run a circle around him until the door finally opens, and then we are almost at the very end. Fortunately, Mr. X cannot go under the door, so we are no longer dealing with him. So thank you for your cameo, but I'll see you some other time. Now we only have a few zombies left and then one adult G. I kill and stun a bunch of those zombies on my way to the adult G, and I just kind of take my time with that process because I have plenty of shotgun shells to just dispose of, and I'm thinking I'll take out all the common zombies I possibly can and try to lure all the armored zombies into this back area. That way I can run past them and have plenty of separation between me and them while I go up to the adult G and try to avoid it as well. And then I also thought I stunned the G with a machine gun, but I was very incorrect. And since he was not stunned, when I try running by the adult G, it just grabs me and I get poisoned. And as soon as he is nice enough to let me go and free me, I just get grabbed and attacked by another zombie. It was looking like I was about to die again, but suddenly, the G and the zombies decided to just stop attacking me for really no apparent reason. So the poisoned and beaten Ghost ends up running all the way to the scenario's end. So this may be the only Ghost Survivor scenario where the character survives what originally killed them just to be killed by something else later on. Instead of calling this scenario Forgotten Soldier, calling it Delaying the Inevitable may have been more appropriate. In the end, Ghost reaches the railcar with a G-Virus sample, and it looks like he is nearly free and about to be an Umbrella hero, but he is ultimately ambushed by the super spy herself, Ada Wong. While not explicitly stated, it seems like Ada kills Ghost for the sample, and that is where the scenario ends. Even though he still dies, at least Ghost got to go out in a blaze of glory this time. And with that scenario out of the way, I have done all 3 of the original Ghost Survivor modes that were made available to pretty much any player that picks up this game. And once a person beats all 3, a 4th scenario is unlocked. That is going to be the final and hardest scenario to complete, and I'll be tackling that in the very next episode. Until then, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to check out the other things I have on the Thor's Entertainment channel, to include a bunch of other videos for Resident Evil 2's remake, and I also did a playthrough of the Resident Evil 1 remake as well. And also have a bunch of other video game related videos too, so if that seems interesting to you, feel free to check it out. But yeah, thank you again for checking this one out, take care, and hopefully I will see you next time.